Shalom. Call hello Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bakah HaKodash. Double honor to the apostles and the others, a great millstone who were well. Peace and salutations to the brothers laboring throughout the four corners of the earth in truth and in sincerity. It's Torah Pariyah from the Promise Rhode Island camp. And this is going to be part 5 of the Genesis 49 series. Alright, in this video, we're going to be going into Issachar. Alright, in the purpose for the series is to edify whomever may want to know who they are according to the Bible, as well as who their brother is, and as well as who the enemy is. All right, and the Wadi Hawabashim Hawashai Bahashem Rakar Kodash for pouring the Spirit upon me to continue this series. All right, now with that being said, this is Genesis the 49th chapter and 14th verse. It says Issachar, right? In the Hebrew, it is pronounced Yeshashka. All right, it means he is hired. These is known to be the so-called Mexicans. All right, and Issachar, so-called Mexicans, they're known, all right, for being probably the hardest workers in America, man. All right, as they're called immigrants here in America. All right, this land, right, really doesn't belong to the Europeans that came and colonized. All right, it actually belongs to the Israelites. Specifically the Northern Kingdom, right? Now, I took it upon myself to actually look this up, right? And it's an article from Phoenix New Times. It says Mexicans work more than you and everyone else in the world, report shows. According to a recent report from Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, Mexicans work more than anywhere else on the face of the earth. As a friend asked, even the Japanese, yes, Mexicans even work more than the Japanese. The report looked at the daily labor habits of citizens of 29 industrialized countries and found that on average, Mexicans spend more time working than anyone else on the planet. All right. Now that's just because it's in their DNA, man. Right? Their name is a nomen omen. He is hired. And that's exactly what he does, man. He works. All right. He works and works. And it's not because he wants to work, really. All right. Because out there in the so-called Mexico, things are real bad, man. All right. You got a bunch of so-called Mexicans, so-called immigrants coming to the Americas because of the way that the place where they're living in being so corrupt and so polluted with a bunch of so-called gangsters, drug addicts, and just a poor economy, man. But that's only because of the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, man. But ultimately speaking, in spiritual standpoint, it's because we went off and against the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Heavenly Father, man. But I'm going to read here Genesis 49, verse 14 again. It says, Issachar, Yeshashka, is a strong ass couching down between two burdens. Now, real quick, before I continue on, I want to grab a quick precept. This is Genesis chapter 30. Salakia for the noise. This is Genesis chapter 30, verse 17. And the Most High hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived and bare Jacob the fifth son. And Leah said, the Most High have given me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my husband. And she called his name Issachar. All right. Now that number 5, man, it actually represents power. All right. Here's a list of some meanings of these words, of these numbers. Salah. All right. Now going back to the precept, Genesis 49, verse 14 again. Issachar is a strong ass couching down between two burdens. Now another thing to know about Issachar is that they were given the spiritual gift of reading the constellations, all right? Reading the stars. Now, what they was able to do with that is it was able to tell when it was a good time for crops, right? As well as they were using it for war. All right, now let's grab a few precepts concerning that. It's First Chronicles chapter 12, verse 32. And of the children of Issachar, which were men that had understanding of the times, right, to know what Israel ought to do. The heads of them were 200, and all their brethren were at their commandment, right? They were men. Issachar were men that had understanding of the times. Now, what do you think the whole Mayan calendar came from? All right, they were the ones that came up with the calendar, the prediction of 2012. I mean, we know that time didn't come to pass, but they still had the understanding that this place is gonna be destroyed, right? Um, Now, real quick, let's go back. Genesis 49, verse 14. Read it again. Issachar Yashashka is a strong ass couching down between two burdens, right, man? And what does it mean by two burdens? It's talking about two land masses, right? Mexico is actually between North and Central America, right? And how do we know this is what we just read was a future prophecy? Because if you look at where Issachar was dwelling, they weren't dwelling between two land masses, all right? But here it is today, they dwelling between who? North, North and Central America. You see? Salaki, bear with me real quick. Shit. Uh, and Salaki. And one thing that Issachar did was they were building pyramids, right? Now here's something that I had looked up. It said pyramids. I just typed in pyramids in Mexico, right? They have a list here where people go and actually see. It's the top 10 pyramids in Mexico to visit, right? Uh, it says follow the footsteps of Toltecs, Zapotecs, Mexico, and Maya at these 10 pyramids across Mexico. Mexico's pre-Columbian civilizations can be hard to keep straight, but they share a few common traits. Now I'm not gonna read all of that, but I'm just gonna fly through these pictures here. All right, here you got here La Iglesia in Castillo Coba. Here it is. This is one pyramid. That's another one. See, it's another one here. All right. And how was Issachar? How were they able to build these pyramids? One, because they were smart, man. They were good with the mathematics, but because they were Israelites that were in captivity with the Southern Kingdom in Egypt, man. When Moses took the children of Israel out of the captivity, out of bondage, right? Issachar was there, man. The Northern Kingdom, they were there, right? Hence why they're able to have an idea how to build these pyramids, man. You see? Bear with me, all right? Now let's go back to the precept. This is Genesis 49, verse 15. It says, that rest, and he saw that rest was good in the land that it was pleasant. Right? And that's talking about Mexico. All right? It's talking about Mexico. Real quick, let me just show you, brothers. Let me just type in Mexico. And images. See? All right. Let's type in another one. Mexican. Let me type in Mexican goods. You see? I should type in this. Salakia. Going in depth in Issachar right here. Look at this. And Issachar know how to get down, man. I say shit. I probably eat food from Issachar almost all the damn time. To be honest with you, they get down, man. The salt of the earth, right? Esau can't do this. All you can do is try to imitate it, right? All right, let's go back to this precept. Genesis 49 and verse 15. And he saw that rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant unto tribute. And what is that talking about? It's talking about how they got conquered by the conquistadors, man. Right? And that's why they speak Spanish today. Okay? And this was a future prophecy because the time of the Assyrian captivity, Issachar, uh, 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 uh they wasn't, I lost my train of thought. Damn. Shit, I hate these damn bodies. Let me read this again. Genesis 49:15. And he saw that rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant unto tribute. Right? Oh yeah, yeah. So let's look into this. Right here it is. You got a man named Hernan Cortez. Right, we're gonna go into a little bit of history of this man. Hernan Cortez was a Spanish conquistador who led an expedition that caused the fall of the Aztec Empire and brought large portions of what is now mainland Mexico under the rule of the King of Castile in the early 16th century. Cortez was part of the generation of Spanish explorers and conquistadors who began the first phase of the Spanish colonization of the Americas. Right? We were looking this, we tying it in with circular history here. Okay. Um, we're gonna go ahead. Con. We're gonna start off with the arrival. We'll read about the arrival. It says Cortez reached Hispaniola in a ship commanded by Alonso Quintero, who tried to deceive his superiors and reach the New World before them in order to secure personal advantages. Quintero's mutinous conduct may have served as a model for Cortez in his subsequent career. Upon his arrival in 1504 in Santo Domingo, the capital Hispaniola, the 18-year-old Cortez registered as a citizen. This entitled him to a building plot and land to farm. Soon afterward, Governor Nicolas de Ovando granted him an encomienda. Right, let's look what this is. Was a Spanish labor system that rewarded conquerors with the labor of particular groups of conquered non-Christian people. Right, so they used the Israelites, man, that they've conquered as slaves. Says and appointed him as a notary of the town of Azul de Compostela. His next 5 years seemed to help establish him in the colony. 1506, Cortez took part in the conquest of Hispaniola in Cuba. Expedition leader awarded him a large estate of land and Indian slaves for his efforts, right? The Northern Kingdom, the Israelites. Right now, this is some history about Cuba, okay? Um, Cortez was with a man named Diego Velasquez, right? Let's go on real quick. Go into the real deal right here. Conquest of Mexico. Velasquez in 1518, Velasquez put Cortez in command of an expedition to explore and secure the interior of Mexico for colonization. At the last minute, due to the old argument between the two, Velasquez changed his mind and revoked Cortez's charter. Cortez ignored the orders and an act of open mutiny went anyway in February 1519. He stood in Trinidad, Cuba to hire more soldiers and obtain more horses. Accompanied by about 11 ships, 500 men, including seasoned slaves. I wonder who those slaves were, right? If you're paying attention, you should know. Oh, oh shit. Damn. Yeah, we in the hood, man. You know how to get down in the hood. Sheesh. Anyways, man. It says 13 horses and a small number of cannons Cortez landed on the Yucatan Peninsula in Mayan territory. Right. I'll show you brothers where that's at. The Yucatan Peninsula, you zoom in, is right there where you see the hook. Salakit. Matter of fact, I'll just type it in, brother. Salakit. Yucatan. Right? It's highlighting your head. That's the Yucatan Peninsula right there. All right? So you brothers get an idea, get a glimpse. We're gonna go into that guy next, Vincent Guerrero. Um, says Cortez landed on the Yucatan Peninsula in Mayan territory. There he encountered Geronimo de Aguilar, a Spanish Franciscan priest who had survived a shipwreck followed by a period in captivity with the Maya before escaping. Aguilar had learned the Chontal Maya language and was able to translate for Cortez. It says Cortez's military experience was almost non-existent, but he proved to be an effective leader of a small army and won early victories over the coastal Indians. So, the Northern Kingdom was going to war with this devil, man. Going to war with this devil, and look, Issachar, the Northern Kingdom became a servant, as the prophecy has said. All right, servant unto tribute. Let's read a little bit more. It says where was I? All right. Cortez's military experience was almost non-existent, but he proved to be an effective leader of a small army and won early victories over the coastal Indians. In March 1519, Cortez formally claimed the land for the Spanish crown. Let's look what this is. Habsburg Spain is a contemporary historiographical term refers to the Spain of the 16th, 17th century when it was ruled by kings from the House of Habsburg. Also associated with its role in the history of Central and Eastern Europe. All right, so now we know what that is, right? Then he proceeded to Tabasco, where he met with the resistance and won a battle against the natives. Okay, where they fought up in Tabasco. All right, it's one of the 32 federal entities of Mexico. It is divided into 17 municipalities, and its capital city is Villahermosa. All right. Right. It says he received 20 young indigenous women. Right here. That's where we at. He received 20 young indigenous women from the vanquished natives, and he converted them all to Christianity. All right. So he took the woman. He killed off the majority. He killed off the men. Right. He took in the women. Right. And he converted them. All right. So this is a little bit of history on this damn devil. All right. You brothers could go into it. Now we're gonna go into a so-called honorable man in so-called Mexico, and his name is Vincent Guerrero. All right. Vincent Guerrero was one of the leading revolutionary generals of the Mexican War of Independence. Now, this is fast forwarding a little bit in time. All right. It says he fought against Spain for independence in the early 19th century and later served as president of Mexico. He abolished slavery on a national level during his brief term as president. Guerrero was deposed in a rebellion under Vice President Anastasio Bustamante. All right. So like it here. It's a little bit of pictures of this guy here. Right here. In 1810, Guerrero joined in the early revolt against Spain, first fighting in the forces of secular priest Jose Maria Morelos. When the War of Independence began, Guerrero was working as a gunsmith in Tixtla. He joined the rebellion in November 1810 and enlisted in a division that independence leader Morelos had organized to fight in southern Mexico. All right, so this is another man of of Mexico's history, Issachar's history. All right. So if you brothers like, you go into that. But I wanted to show you brothers, man, that this video right here, Lord willing, I remember I'll put the link in the description box. It's a pretty good video going over, as it says, the history of Mexico. All right, it's a quick rundown and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And you brothers want more info on Mexico because there's a lot of history to cover. All right, there's a whole bunch, but in this lesson here in this video, just wanted to go over a few key things. All right, but let's see what we got here. All right, yeah, man. So that pretty much wraps up uh this this part of this Genesis 49 series. Lord willing, this was edifying. Right? Want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the house of David, the elect. Shalom.